That's right. Welcome to this week's LeviTV, Parshat Ve'et Hanan. This week's Torah portion, we have a recap of the Ten Commandments. Moshe recounts the giving of the Ten Commandments to the Jews and reiterates their importance. Reading the commandments, we find something very interesting. The third commandment, do not use God's name in vain. According to most commentaries, is the idea of making a vain oath or promise or swearing falsely, not in court, because that's the ninth commandment, but saying, for example, this oven is gold-plated. It's obviously stainless steel. Or even better, saying, I swear to you by God's name that this is an oven. Duh. It's using God's name in vain to do either say ridiculous things or to make a vain resolution. That's using God's name in vain. You make a resolution by God's name and you don't keep it, you've just used God's name in vain. Now the question I have is, what's that doing in the top 10? Top 10 are intrinsic and integral part of Judaism. All 630 commandments are an integral part of Judaism, and the 10 are the root of all 613. What do not use God's name falsely have to do with believing in one God, keeping Shabbat, honoring your parents, not killing, not stealing? Do not use God's name falsely? Do not make a vain oath or promise? What's going on over here? What makes this even more interesting is, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago on LeviTV, this is a test for those of you who are listening, the Kol Nidre service, the first service of the holiest day in the Jewish year, Yom Kippur, is all about annulling vows and promises that we have made during the year. You would think that on the Day of Atonement we wouldn't have something better to beg forgiveness about? What's the deal with vows? Why do people make oaths or vows? It's to better ourselves. It's like making a New Year's resolution. We want to get better. We want to become better. So we make a resolution. Chances of us actually keeping that, well, let's just say it gets a little bit hard after the first week. So a fail-safe against that is to make it legally binding by promising in God's name that you do it. Now suddenly you have to do it, and that gives you the extra incentive to grow and to push yourself when you usually wouldn't. Now it begins to make sense why it's in the top 10. The idea and the need for us to grow as people is an integral part of humanity. It's what makes us human. We are able to adapt, we are able to change, we are able to refine ourselves and become better people. This is what the Ten Commandments are trying to teach us. This is what the third commandment is telling us. This idea of using God's name falsely, how dare you? If you want to grow, grow. But if you're not going to grow, if you're not going to act as a human being should, don't drag God's name down with you. So here's my challenge for this week. Let's take one thing which we can all grow in and push ourselves, that extra step, to actually get it done. I'd like to thank you for watching this week's LeviTV, and guess what? It's